Hi there, this is Sheri Leigh Myers. Welcome to How to Connect with Angels. We created this podcast because we believe that no matter what, every person has the love and help of angels, God's messengers. Angels are everywhere if we are willing to ask. That's what our film, The Glitch, is all about. Visit us at theglitchmovie.com and sign up for our newsletter about our future filming here in New Orleans. But now, right now, let's talk to someone who is devoted to helping us make that divine connection. Debbie Z Almstedt's unique connection to the angelic realm began during a Reiki healing in 2002, when an angel appeared to inform her that the graceful symbols that Debbie had been drawing through automatic writing were angelic healing symbols called Zibu. Since then, Debbie has been recreating these powerful symbols in a variety of forms, starting with jewelry crafted from various metals and semi-precious stones. Debbie Z Almstedt is also the author of 2 books, Zibu, The Power of Angelic Symbology, as well as Illuminated Prayers and Zibu Meditations. Debbie Z is also the creator of a deck of cards featuring the symbols called Zibu Angelic Symbols, Affirmation, and Oracle Deck.
It's important for everyone to raise their vibrational level by connecting with the angels. It's all about love. It all comes down to love. And I get goosebumps as I say that because I mean, even my husband is on the other side. He passed away 9 years ago. And every once in a while, as I connect with the angels, I'll get a message from him. And the message from him are just as exquisite. And they're all about love. He'll say, Deb, it's so simple. It's all about love. And that's the common theme through all of the angelic messages. It's about us loving ourselves. It's about, I mean, that's where the passion comes in. It's about us loving ourselves, about loving each other, and shifting the vibration on this planet.
Mm-hmm. Shifting vibe now. Yep.
Yes, exactly.
Debbie, your book is called Zibu, The Power of Angelic Symbology. Okay. Zibu, The Power of Angelic Symbology. And I was lucky enough to have a copy of this book to review before we talked. And I have to tell you, I have it by my bedside, and every night before I go to bed, I review some symbols. And I feel such peace. And I feel such inspiration from just looking at the symbols and reading what you channeled from the angels and how you've interpreted it and actually implemented it into your jewelry design and your life. So how did this happen? How did this happen that Debbie Almstedt became this force in the world with the Zibu angelic symbology?
Oh my gosh. I think it's a fascinating story. I really wanted to connect with the angels. I heard about automatic writing, and I thought that would be the coolest thing, to be able to allow the angels or allow spirit to work through me, bring messages, uplifting messages through me through this automatic writing.
So you believed in angels?
Yes, I did. I had back in 2002, I met up with a group of people that would get together maybe once a week, and we just talk about all things spiritual. And we were helping each other on our paths. And someone had talked about automatic writing, and that really appealed to me for some reason. And I thought, I want to get some inspirational messages just through writing. And so I journal every single morning. That's what I love to do. I use a fountain pen. I love the feeling of this flow of ink. And I got my journal out and I started writing every single morning. But I wrote just my own thoughts, writing on paper. And I was trying so hard. I ended up blocking myself. I had this white knuckle grip on my pen, and I just couldn't. I was trying to force things to happen. Sure. And when I finally allowed it to flow through me and just said, okay, I'm not going to try to control this, that's when this just fluid writing would come out, but it came through as symbols rather than longhand English.
Now, Debbie, are you an artist? And have you been an artist? And then you started creating the symbols? They came, how is that?
Exactly. In the year 2000, I started doing jewelry. I bought some wire and started taking classes, and I started making jewelry. And I've done many different kinds of art in the past. It's always been second nature to me, and I'm happiest when I can create and use my hands. But it's interesting too that as a former executive assistant, I've spent years doing shorthand as well, which is always felt like a secret language. I could use these symbols to take dictation.
Sure.
But that was working with executives in business. And then it was fascinating that when the angels wanted to communicate with me, they chose symbols, and it's felt like second nature. They don't look like shorthand symbols at all, but they represent energy. And so as I was drawing these symbols every morning for like 2 weeks, it just flowed through me. And I observed myself drawing symbol after symbol, a whole page of symbols. And I knew it was positive. I knew it was something good, but I didn't know what these meant.
Right.
And, but there was a flow, this beautiful, wonderful, calm feeling to them. And it wasn't until I went in for a Reiki session about 2 weeks after drawing these symbols, I was laying on a Reiki table, and I felt very safe and very open and protected. The angels I knew were with me. And during this Reiki session, a face appeared, like a hologram of a face. And it kind of freaked me out because I hadn't seen this before. And I thought we had conjured up a ghost or something. And in fact, it was this beautiful, exquisite face. And she spoke to me and she said, "Dear Debbie, what you've been drawing are angelic symbols, and they are called Zibu." And then, so I heard her say it, but then she wrote it in the air. So I saw it spelled Zibu.
Wow.
She said, these symbols are angelic healing symbols, and we invite you as an artist to create jewelry in the shapes of these symbols in silver. This be yet specifically silver, and that's associated with the feminine energy. And we invite you to create these in silver as your voice to share these messages with mankind. And I tell you, that was so clear. There was no way I could misinterpret what the message was, but it did take me a while to sit with it and really know what had happened in that very short amount of time. And it was a beautiful way of receiving confirmation that what I was doing was angelic.
And the vision and the action that they were asking you to take. I mean, it's a commitment that you made.
Exactly. I had to sit with it for a little bit to sort through it and see how I felt about it. I thought, this is a big deal. And the angels will never come in and demand that you must do this or you have to do that. That's lower vibrational. If someone brings a message saying you must do this, that's lower vibration. This was an invitation, and it was done so lovingly. We invite you to create these. And so I'm getting goosebumps as I say that. I just can relive that moment so vividly.
Also in the languaging from the angel, I can sense and feel that there is an eternity, there's an eternal grace of that moment.
Exactly.
Here you are being prepared to be at this place in your life, and this request or this possibility has been laid in front of you. So it took you a while to work with. Now you created a book. I did.
Oh, it's a beautiful book. I I thought if I needed to figure out what these symbols meant, I needed to sit with the angels, invite them in, and say, of all of these pages I've drawn these symbols on, tell me if you want me to share these messages, tell me what these mean. Tell me what is the message that goes with these. So here I was taking dictation again, but it was from on high. This was not from the CEO of a company. This was from on high. This was divine messages coming through. And I sat with my notebooks and I would look at the page and I'd say, which symbol do you want to tell me about? Which one do I need to know about in this moment? And I tell you, there would be light that would illuminate one of the symbols and it would raise off the paper. And I'd say, is it this one? And I'd point to it and I'd get a confirmation. Yes, that's it. And I would draw that one symbol on a separate piece of paper. And then I'd be prepared. I'd say, what do you want me to share with people about this symbol? What does this one mean? And as a whisper, I would hear the word. It would be joy or friendship or love. But it was unmistakable. It was just a soft, gentle whisper. And I'd confirm again, is it this? Did I hear correctly? Is this the word? Yes. What do you want me to tell people? And so I started writing. I would take dictation. I would hear it. I would hear it in my head and then I would write it out. And I could see myself writing and there was automatic writing. When I was done, it was like when I reread it, it was like I was reading it for the first time, and it was exquisite. It was not my kind of writing. It was elevated. It was divine. It was divinely inspired. It was clearly not my ego.
It's writing. Poetry.
It was exquisite.
I'd like to take just a minute to read the channeled writing. That is the translation from the angels of lightheartedness. Okay, page 113. In words, this is what the angels wanted us to know about the Zibu symbol of lightheartedness. Quote, remember to look to the light and feel the lightness in your heart. Know that it will allow you to shine brightly for others. You have the potential to change the lives of others dramatically with this approach to life. It allows you to find lightheartedness in your step. And by lightening up, you will be able to avoid taking things so seriously. It will also allow you to release dark, stumbling blocks from your life's path. Period. End of quote. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There's a world in that.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, so you wrote you gathered up the material from, with your channelings with and you sat down with the angels and you wrote the book. And were you also starting to create the jewelry at the same time?
I was. So the symbols came to me in 2002. I wrote the book in 2007. And during that 5-year period of time, I collected stories as I started making the jewelry immediately. And in 2002, that's what I was guided to do. I created the pieces. And as I did so for the people in my community, as each person received their piece of jewelry, wonderful experiences, blessings would happen to them. And it's as though these symbols were keys to connect with the angels in a very unique way. And when I first would make these pieces and hand them to the recipient, it caught me off guard that people would be deeply, deeply touched by the energy of the piece. And that sometimes they would be brought to tears. My first thought was, oh my gosh, what did I do something wrong? And then I realized their heart and their soul were deeply touched by this exquisite energy. So people started sharing their stories with me, and quite often 24 hours after receiving a piece or getting a reading, people would call me or text me and say, you will not believe what happened. And that got my attention because I heard that phrase a lot. I started taking notes. It's like, let me get my paper and pencil. I need to write this down. And the stories were so beautiful.
Oh, come on, share a couple.
Oh, I tell you.
For example.
So a woman asked me for some help for her daughter. She didn't tell me the story. And it's good if I don't know the story or what's going on. That way I trust my guidance implicitly. Mm-hmm. She said, my daughter needs some help. Can you create a piece for her? And so I sat with the angels and I got this beautiful symbol for right action. And I thought, I have no idea what her situation is about. I don't need to know that, but I got the symbol for right action. I was guided to do a handheld piece, like a talisman for her. Mm-hmm. And normally I would create a piece and I would mail it off to the person. The mom lived or worked 10 minutes from where my home was in Seattle. And so when I finished the piece, there felt like an urgency. I thought, I need to get this message and this piece to the mom. I just really do. And the second it was done, I was putting my shoes on, getting my jacket on. Wow. There was an urgency. Mm-hmm. And so I drove the 10 minutes, went to her office. And as I was walking in the front door of her office, because I didn't even call her ahead of time, she was putting her coat on, was just ready to leave. And I said, I finished the piece for your daughter. Here it is. And I handed it to her and she said, I'm just getting ready to leave to go pick up my daughter. She says, actually, she's involved in a legal situation and I'm going to pick her up to take her to that appointment to see the attorney. Mm-hmm. So she thanked me and she took the piece. The next day they called me and she said, I have to share with you what happened. She said, my daughter was debating about whether to press charges in a legal situation. And she had gone back and forth. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. And was just uncertain about it. She said before they went into the attorney's office for her deposition, she handed the piece to her daughter. She looked at it and it was right action. Yeah. It was reassuring her that the action she was taking, she had chosen correctly, that was what she needed to do. She put the piece in her pocket, and while she was giving her deposition, every once in a while when she would get concerned or she would feel emotional, she could feel her pocket warm up, and the symbol was in her pocket. To reassure her and say, yes, speak the words. This needs to be told. And that happens. And so she put her daughter on the phone to tell me this in her own words. And I was in tears. I was just so deeply touched that I trusted the message that came through. I gave it to her. I felt the urgency to get it to her in the right amount of time. And it gave her that reassurance. To warm up her pocket and to give her that reassurance, I felt so humbled that I did what I was guided to do, and it made a difference. I'm just in awe that I could make a difference in that way.
Oh, Debbie, I can just imagine how each one of these pieces that you are creating and sharing with people would bring that energy and that healing.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, the healing and the symbols themselves have so much love.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Before I go in, I wanted to tell you before I go into my studio, my art studio is my sacred space. And I pray and I meditate before I come in here. I sometimes spray sage. I turn on my Himalayan salt lamp, but I hold the highest vibration I can and invite the angels in before I even create the pieces. And when I do that, the pieces almost make themselves. When I forget, the few times I've forgotten to do that and I've been in a rush and my ego is pushed in here, my steel pliers have broken, wire has broken. It's like angels red flag saying, Debbie, are you even present?
Yes. Hello. Now you also offer, Debbie Z, you also offer your incredible jewelry. And I think you do everything from pins to earrings to, you said necklaces and what else? Talismans? Talismans?
Yes, like handheld pieces I refer to them as talisman. I also do pendulums, and the pendulums I've been guided to use the symbol for truth on the end. So there's a wire symbol for truth, then there's a chain, and then there's a gemstone and maybe a charm or some wire worked piece. But the idea is to hold the symbol for truth in the palm of your hand and let the chain drape over the edge of your finger, and then use that as a tool to get answers. And I think it's interesting that you're holding the symbol for truth in your hand as you're asking for what is the truth in this situation.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
yes. Yes.
Yes. And the angels have guided me by saying these symbols are effective when you hold them or behold them. So you can hold them and make physical contact with the symbols, either by tracing them with your fingers or drawing them, or having a piece of jewelry that you wear or hold. But you can also look at them. So to behold them, they radiate out, they emit this wonderful energy, and it's almost like ripples in a pond or these rings of energy. I can see it, and it just emits this wonderful energy that will fill your home, your living space, your workspace. It's just beautiful ways to connect with this lovely energy.
Oh, it is. I'm not getting a piece of this. I'm just telling you, if you're thinking down the line that you want something really super, super, super special to send to your girlfriend or your mom or your sister or your daughter or someone, in your life, or a male, of course, and just go to
Zibu Angelic Symbols.com.
Symbols.com. Okay.
ZibuAngelicSymbols.com. That's my website. I sell my jewelry online at my online store, and that's www.etsy.com/shop/Zibu Angelic Symbols.
Zibu is also, by the way, Zibu.
Yes.
Zibu. That's what the angels wanted Debbie to know. It's Zibu.
That's right.
Zibu.
I didn't make it up. It's what the angel told.
Yes, that's right. I'm stenographer here. Now, you also, Debbie, another thing that you have that's so beautiful is your deck. And you created the Zibu Affirmation and Oracle deck of 88 cards. Tell us about that. How did you go about creating the deck, and why?
I had a lot of people ask about when I was going to do a deck. I did the book, and that was in 2007, and that has 88 symbols in it. There's many more symbols than that, but I was guided to do 88 in the book. The same 88 symbols are in the deck that I did. And I know people like to use the book and just randomly open up to a page, and that's the message that they read and that they focus on for the day. But I like the idea of having a deck so you can shuffle them and feel the energy, and then you can pull a card out and you can stand it up and look at it for the day. Or do a reading for yourself. It's the deck that I use when I'm doing readings for people. But these cards have an affirmation at the bottom, which is different than what's in the book. So it has the word of what the symbol is. Like I just picked a card right now, and it's a symbol for healing embrace. So it's a beautiful, clear drawing. It says healing embrace at the top. The affirmation is, I extend open arms and embrace others to share peace and unconditional love. So all of these are affirmations. They're I statements, and it's a way to tap into that energy and to focus on something positive, especially to start your day. It's a beautiful way to start the day.
It really
but it is
is.
the deck I use when I'm doing readings for other people, and I will get several cards out, and one card alone would have a specific meaning for multiple people. But when I get several cards together, that's really fine-tuned for that specific person. And it's lovely the way they all work together. to create more of a paragraph or more of an extensive meaning.
Now you also can, so if someone actually wanted a card reading with Debbie Z, you could do that via Skype, right? That's how you do it?
I go to events. Where I can do readings in person with people, but I can also do it through Skype or FaceTime or phone. I like doing it by Skype because I like to be able to see the person. I can do it by phone, and distance is no object. I've done readings for people in India or on the other side of the world. And
so exciting.
There is no distance. There's no time. I mean, it's just as easy to relay messages that way. And I also do energy work, and I can do that in person or I can do that from a distance.
Tell me about that. What does that look like?
Oh, it's so cool. And I follow my guidance. The angels have shown me what to do when I can see the person or when I can visualize them or when I'm sitting in person. I am shown in my mind which symbols have the energy that will assist that person. And I see almost like a clear sheet of, I call it heavenly material. It's like a clear panel that comes in front of me. And I will draw the symbol with my fingertips, and that symbol and that energy just sort of floats between the two of us, and then I send it to the recipient, and I can see it floating to that person, and I can see that going within them. It just floats to them, it goes inside, and then I can feel it click into place. And then I feel that it's condensed. It's really condensed energy. And then it's gently emitted throughout the body. It's like a whisper. It's everything about this is so gentle. It's very powerful, but it's very, very gentle. And so it may be several symbols. It helps balance energy. It brings back people back into alignment. Whatever they need, it's brought to them. And quite often it'll take a couple days before it's fully integrated, but I follow my guidance and I don't have to know why. I just send them whatever energy is going to assist them.
Debbie, you also, you use henna as a way to actually apply the symbols to clients, to those who seek out the work. What's that like? Where do you?
Oh, when henna is a paste that is used to draw on people's skin, and it's made from the henna plant. It's dried and reconstituted, and it's made into this beautiful paste. When it's drawn on the skin, it will stain the skin in whatever pattern that you draw out, and you leave it on for a matter of 4 hours, crumble it off when it's dry, and then over the course of a 48 hours, it will darken to this rich brownish orange color. It's exquisite. They use it quite often in ceremonies in India or Pakistan, and for special ceremonies like weddings and birthdays and that sort of thing. But when I'm guided to do it, I'm shown a symbol, and I will do energy work as I apply the symbol to the person's skin, and then I embellish around it however I'm inspired. I don't know what it's going to look like until I'm finished, and I focus on the detail. When I sit back and take a look at it at the end, I'm surprised. It's like, oh my gosh, isn't this beautiful? And it's not from a place of ego, but rather, look what they did through me to bring this energy to the person. So it's energy work, but the person also gets to see that image over the course of the 2 or 3 weeks that it stays on the skin and before it starts to fade. So the energy is there, whether you can see it or not. The henna allows the person to see that beautiful energy in the form of this beautiful image of the symbol and the curly cues and this beautiful fluid design.
How fun. Debbie, we would like to hear from you why you feel compelled to commit yourself to this work and to the jewelry and to the cards and the book and bringing this message of the angels. What's going on?
Oh, I just felt such a strong pull to do this work. I can see the difference it's making in people's lives already. And that is getting this positive feedback and seeing, and I get to see with my own eyes how people respond to the energy, to the messages. The importance of this timing is that we need to all come together to help raise each other's vibrational level.
Yeah.
And to share the love with each other. The bottom line about all of these symbols and the energy and all the messages that come through, it's all about love. It's about loving ourselves. It's about loving each other. And love has such a beautiful high vibration to it that that's what's needed more than ever at this time, for us to help one another, to hold hands and lift one another. And as we elevate our own experiences, we shine the light brighter for those around us. And with all the challenges in life right now and all of the lower vibrational things, the challenges that are going on, it's so important that we come together to share this love, to share the light, and to assist each other in raising the vibration of the planet.
If you benefited from this show, please, for heaven's sake, share it. If you want to hear more, go to theglitchmovie.com/podcast guests. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for listening.